when you're looking at what's working and what's not, look at staying persistent and being consistent as the thing to keep you going. And it's also so much easier to keep moving and getting to that 40, 50, whatever, right? If you've already been going rather than starting at zero every time. That's where it gets really difficult.
Welcome to the Impact Driven Entrepreneur, the podcast that helps you expand your reach and convert that reach into clients so you can lead your tribe with confidence and create change in the world while living the life you desire. And now your host, certified business coach and consultant, Mariana Ruiz.
Hey there. So at the time of this recording, it is officially January 1st, 2018. And so if you're listening to this episode as it airs, I want to just say I hope you had an amazing holiday with your family and that you're having a great first day of 2018. And so thank you so much for listening. I truly appreciate the time that we get to spend here and really masterminding and chatting about your business and just you learning from my experience, because that's how I just share with you all the honest, raw truth. And if you're new to listening to the podcast, I want to just thank you for listening, and please hit subscribe, because my podcast is really about open honesty and just sharing my journey and my lessons every step of the way. So let's get right into it. Today, I wanted to talk about how to generate consistent sales in your business. And I want to start by saying thank you for putting up with the sound quality. We are currently away. It is the week before Christmas and New Year's, and I'm recording this a little bit later than usual. And we are traveling and visiting family and just out on the road. So I'm not using my normal mic. The sound might be a little off, but I really wanted to show up and provide value to you and really help you to get 2018 to be your next best year that you've ever had, the best year you've had yet. And it starts with getting consistent sales in your business. And so I think this is a really important topic for us to discuss and talk about at length. So let's get right into it. The first tip and strategy and whatever you want to call this that I want to talk about, the first point I want to make is that we want to use social media for lead generation. So a lot of times when clients come to me, they're struggling to make sales in their business, but they're spending a lot of time on Facebook or Instagram or whatever platform that they're marketing on, and they are simply not spending that time wisely, I guess would be the thing. And I totally say that with so much love, because I've been there. I've had periods in my life, in my business, and in my endeavors in the last few years where I was like sucked into the social media world and not really doing the things I'm supposed to be doing. And I just want to remind you, right? Social media is meant to be social. So we're doing it for lead generation, yes, but ultimately the end goal, and how I teach a process inside the Impact Formula, my signature program, where I talk about basically how you move somebody through the buying cycle, is through attract, connect, and convert. And connect is where we get to use social media. We get to use these platforms to really make a real, genuine connection. So yes, it's for lead generation, technically speaking, but really what we're doing there is making genuine connections with genuine people, right? So when you're using your social media, look to actually make genuine connections. When you use that as your objective and you're really focused on that, it can be so much more service-based, right? And most of my listeners today, and if you're listening, you're an impact-driven entrepreneur. So you want to help, you want to serve, and you want to do it from a place of integrity and love. And this is how we do it. Instead of using quote-unquote lead generation, just think about it as connection. It's so much easier, so much more heartfelt, right? And we all know how to make connections. We're humans, right? This is what we crave. And sometimes with technology and with social media and all of that, we can on the surface seem connected, but not actually be connected. And so how can you challenge yourself to make genuine, real connections with people on social media? And that leads me into point number 2. When we're doing this work on social media, when we're out there connecting with real people, I want you to keep a database or some sort of file, spreadsheet, Trello board, Asana, whatever organizational tool you want to use, but really keep track of these people because it's so hard for us to keep track of that much information of that many people. But I want you to think about, how can I make this super fun and friendly and light for me, but also really meaningful? So one of the things that I like to track are things like what's going on with people's lives, right? And I don't have the brain space to do that. It's just too much. But I wanted all my connections to be really deep and really heartfelt, like I said. So I just keep track of them in a system. I have used Google Spreadsheets before. I've used Trello before. I love Trello. I love Asana too because it gives you reminders. But right now I'm trying a different program. Oh my gosh, what is it called? It starts with an F, but I downloaded this thing called Briefcase HQ. We'll link to it in the show notes. But basically what they do is a bunch of different softwares that you might need. It's kind of like a Netflix for software. It's created by Noah Keegan, and I absolutely love it. I've been a follower of his for a while, and I heard him talk about it, and I was like, I'm curious about it. So there's a program there that was kind of like these spreadsheets, but you could kind of connect them more and just have more information than a regular spreadsheet. And yet it wasn't as complicated or as whatever as Trello and Asana. So I'm playing around with that, but it's not even so much about that. If you really want to, you can just do it on a whiteboard. There's quarters where I'm like, forget all the tech. I'm just going to put these people on a whiteboard and just kind of take notes right here on my whiteboard in my office. So really just having these people top of mind and really being aware of what's going on with them. And you don't have to have a huge list of people, because if you go deep, you don't have to go as wide. So it's really just about making sure you're staying connected with the people that you really and truly want to serve and help. And then point number 3 is actually taking the time to follow up. So again, this is a thing that has happened to me, and I'm sure, if you're busy, this can happen to you too, where we get so tied into serving our clients and really getting out there and helping them. Or we just fill up with like all these clients. This happened to me the first time I sold out my coaching practice. I was only about 7 months in, and I went from like maybe 3 or 4 clients to 11. And it felt like a huge leap. I had never had that many clients before, and I had no systems. I had no childcare. It was a lot. And so what happened is I stopped following up with the people that I wanted to continue to serve, like after these people were done. And that caused a lull, right, in the sales coming in. And so as you're continuing to serve, you want to see, how can I continue to stay in the sales process as I'm serving? And rather than going back and forth, that's what causes the feast and famine cycles. And then point number 4 is get people on the phone. This has been a hard one for me to embrace, quite honestly, but the more I do it, the more I see the power of it. And in the beginning, I would do everything in my power to avoid phone calls, where I was putting together these super complicated, marketing campaigns and email campaigns and all that. And not instead of, but in addition to phone calls, I could have made so much more money and so much less effort. So for me, it's how can I integrate that sales process and the marketing process? That is the work that I'm doing every day in my business to continue to grow and to continue to generate consistent sales. So getting people on the phone is a huge critical component of that. And in the beginning, and if you're wondering too, I run this program called the Biz Boot Camp sometimes. It's a very special program where I guarantee that the people in it will make back their entire investment within 10 weeks of being in the program. And if not, I just continue to coach them for free until they do. So it's a cool thing that I've gotten a chance to do a few times. And one of the first things we talk about is that if you want sales in your business, you have to get people on the phone. So the first hurdle is usually, let's get as many discovery calls, strategy sessions as possible, and let's do some stuff to get you on the phone with people. And so from there, you can close at a much higher percentage rate than if you were to just only use online marketing. So the stats for even just cold calling is like 30% close rate, okay? And if you're good, and if you're not cold calling and you're calling people that are actually interested in your service, you can close 80 to 90%. So that means those are way, way more conversion rates than if you were to do, like, let's say, a webinar launch or a challenge, or even just a sales page. A sales page will convert like under 10% is a good conversion rate for a sales page. And so when you're looking at the two and you're weighing the pros and cons of how am I going to get consistent sales in my business, we got to think about the big picture strategy and where you are. Do you have the traffic to where if you convert at a sales page with a 10% conversion rate with a experienced copywriter, would I be able to have the volume to make my income goals compared to getting people on the phone, closing, even if you're just starting out, you could do like 50% close rate, right? Where are you in your business, and what are the numbers that make sense for where you are? Okay, so getting people on the phone is a great strategy to increase that conversion rate and therefore close more sales. And then point number 5 is I want you to use the momentum that you're generating to keep going. So this is an interesting one because what can happen is that we get just enough sales to like not be struggling so much, and then we stop selling or we focus on something else, or we think we don't have momentum, when in reality, if we were tracking, looking at numbers and really analyzing, we could see the momentum building up. So this happens with my clients a lot. In fact, somebody who's in the impact formula right now was like, but hold on, I've tried that and it didn't work or whatever. And we started looking, and like she had, opt-ins that were starting to convert for the first time because she was promoting them on her live streams, right? And she had motion going, but it wasn't a sale. So I don't want you to get discouraged if you're not getting sales. Look at what is working. Look at the momentum you are breeding, right? If you had 0 posts last week or 0 likes on any of your posts last week, and this week you have 2, that is momentum and progress. And you don't get to 20, 30, 40, 50 likes from 0. You slowly build that momentum up. And so when you're looking at what's working and what's not, look at staying persistent and being consistent as the thing to keep you going. And it's also so much easier to keep moving and getting to that 40, 50, whatever, right? If you've already been going rather than starting at 0 every time. That's where it gets really difficult. So what I want you to do is look at what actually is working, even if it's just email subscribers, even if it's just likes on something, even if it's not monetary, you are building towards the thing that you're going for, right? So how can you continue to move people down that sales process, right? How can you connect more? How can you give more value? And that is what's going to help you to keep going when the going gets tough, right? Besides, let me just always preface with, it is the sale, it is you selling that is going to give them that transformation. So remembering that if they invest in this program with you, that's where you can serve them the best, because they can go deep with you. You can meet with them as often as you normally meet in the program, right? They get the full transformation when you sell. And so remembering that the service is in the selling, and sometimes the selling doesn't happen immediately. It takes momentum and that building up of it for the sale to happen. So don't discount the momentum that you're building. So just to recap, we're going to use social media for lead generation, be really strategic about it, use it for connecting real connections with real people. Number 2, we're going to work from an actual list of people that we want to stay in contact with. This is your dream clients list. If you don't have one, I want you to start one today. It can be on any organizational platform that you want, even a piece of paper will do. But I want you to follow up and really stay in tune with these people that you want to work with. You can identify them, you can help them, and not selling to them and not being top of mind for them is a disservice to them, really and truly, because they're not going to get the help that they can when you work with them, unless you follow up with them, talk to them, etc. So number 3 is actually follow up. So I know that sounds like crazy, right? But it's so simple. Yet a lot of people give up after like 1 or 2 follow-ups when really it takes 5, 6, etc. And I say this from a place of love and from a place of I've totally been there, right? You make up a story about why they're not answering you or whatever, and you think that they're not interested or whatever. And it turns out that they were about to respond to you and their child interrupted them or they were at the grocery store or whatever. And so basically, when it comes to follow-up, don't make up stories. Just let the natural progression of the process happen. And it's not personal. Don't make up stories about why they did or didn't follow up with you or answer you when you followed up with them. And persistence is really important there. Number 4 is get people on the phone. So you're going to have higher conversion rates when you're having that human to human contact. And then number 5 is use the momentum to keep going and keep going and keep going rather than stopping and starting, because that will ultimately hurt your business. And if you're new to listening to the podcast, I invite you to hit subscribe. We're going to have a lot of awesome episodes coming up that we are working on here behind the scenes. And I invite you to join me for the Rise program. It's Revolutionary Impact Through Selling with Ease. And it's a one-on-one coaching program. And we will have some group coaching programs coming up in the very near future. So if you're looking for either group coaching or one-on-one coaching, please schedule a strategy session with me. You can go to impactdrivenentrepreneur.com/strategy. And basically what I can help you to do is help you to get the most out of your marketing and the sales in your business. I want you to make an impact through marketing and selling with integrity and with ease. So this is what I do. So if you're looking to ramp up the sales in your business in the upcoming months, please schedule a strategy session and hit subscribe if you haven't already. We are going to be talking next week about the amazingly simple way to generate 6 months of content for your business. We are going to actually plan your content for the next 6 months or more if you'd like to. And I'm going to share with you how my creative brain doesn't always love to do that and how I kind of work with it in a way that really feels like I can keep a pulse on my audience and really stay connected in that genuine way that works for me. So click subscribe. We're going to be talking about that next week. I can't wait to chat with you then. Have an awesome day. Bye. Head on over to impactdrivenentrepreneur.com where you can find an arsenal of videos, blog posts, and previous podcast episodes to help you increase your profit and impact. Again, impactdrivenentrepreneur.com and click on blog. Enjoy.